Gosh, it's been such a long time.
Yeah, I'm so happy you're back.
Yeah, I'm really excited to be back. Welcome, guys, to The Greatest Knits. Thank you for joining us. I'm Matilda.
And I'm Julia.
We are two friends from Amsterdam and we knit together. And we have a little chat today for you. We're going to talk about what it is that we're working on. We will share some Instagram feeds that are inspiring us and talk about our fantasy knits, what we might be knitting if only we had the time or the inclination or discipline, all of those sorts of things. And then we'll have a favourite three that we'll share later in the show. But Julia, tell me, what is it that you've been working on? Because you've been busy since we last spoke.
Yeah, but that's also because we didn't talk for a while.
That's true.
Here, I mean, in real life, we luckily see each other more often, but some of the patterns were in two books, publications.
I'm so proud of you.
Thanks. So there was one that was really fun. It's called 52 Weeks of Easy Knits by Lydia magazine. And I sent in a little proposal for a scarf, really. I called it Paula, named after Paula Modersohn-Becker. She was a German painter. And that turned into a nice scarf. We'll put some images so you can see them. And it's in this great book of 52 Weeks of Easy Knits, which I thought was just a really fantastic idea.
Yeah.
Because if I flip through this book, I want to knit everything.
Yeah.
Because it's easy and
super inspiring.
Yeah.
Great for different levels of knitters as well. You know, you don't need to be a beginner to get something great out of this book either.
No, exactly. No, I think that made a really good choice of picking something that's just really cool looking and still not too complicated to knit. And yeah, it's just a good concept. So that was the shawl. And then just now you might have seen that this new book of Aimée from La Bien-Aimée has come out. It's called Neons and Neutrals. And for that I made a shawl design again. I sent in this little, a picture of this little swatch, and I thought I wanted to make something because first it was called Mixing the Bases.
Okay.
Yeah, and she wanted to have ideas of how to combine different sorts of bases, and I combined lace weight in silk mohair and fingering weight. And I'm reknitting that right now. Basically for this Punkt, it's called Punkt, for these dots, you just carry along a fingering weight yarn.
Yeah.
So you don't have to pause yarn or anything like this, you just carry it along for the length of the Punkt. And the Punkt is also super easy, so.
And are you doing the same colours in your second sample as in your first, or different?
No, for these, we recently went to London, so I had to go to Loop London.
Ooh. A little bit of knit tourism, we love it.
Sorry. Had to go there. A Jameson and Smith Spindrift, which is a base I really like.
An old favourite.
Yeah, it's a nice sturdy fingering weight.
Yep.
And the great thing about Jameson and Smith is because they make so many stranded colorwork sweaters, they need hundreds of colors.
Yeah,
you know, and I really appreciate a yarn producer who understands that you need exactly this kind of apricot color
or 12 types of beige.
Exactly. Talking about beige, my favorite color.
Yeah.
And then as the background, this time I'm using Isaiah silk mohair.
Okay.
In the color 00.
00.
That is just the best.
It's a beautiful sort of pearly white. Huh?
Yeah, that's my TV knitting. I'm reknitting the Punkt. And then coming up is going to be a circular. Oh yeah, of course. And then I made this one.
Lest we forget.
Nearly forgot. This is called Sonderbar, and I made it together with Sonder Yarn Co. from Canada. and they gave me this DK yarn, and that was a really nice test knit. If you make circular yoke sweaters, you always get a lot of really enthusiastic test knitters.
But the yarn is so lovely.
It is, yeah.
I really love the sheen on it.
Yeah.
It's super soft. No, really beautiful.
And then coming up is, I'm going to send out a call for test knit, is the Carol sweater. I've already showed it last time when I was on my own here on Greatest Knits. And it's a circular yoke sweater. Not going to talk too much about it, but... And what have you been working on? I'll talk too much.
Well, mostly what I've been working on is hanging out with a baby. So my daughter Thea was born at the end of July, and she's now 7 months old and has her first tooth and is rolling over madly and all that kind of thing. So most of my creative energy has been,
of course,
moving in that direction.
Yeah, and I think also feeding her different kinds of food now. And
we're on the solids. I love it. I love trying her on new food every day. So that's pretty exciting.
And she's super cute.
Oh, I think so. I have been doing a little bit of knitting, but I have to say my creative mojo is a little bit missing in action.
Your energy is going somewhere else.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It's a different season for me.
Yeah.
That's okay. But I have been working on a tiny little cardigan for Thea. Maybe I can
maybe
get closer. So it's a little brioche cardigan that I'm just doing in scrappies, and it's caught up on the needle. And I'm on Sleeve Island, and she's starting to maybe get a little bit too big for it already. So I'm finding my motivation is a little bit low, but I just need to be disciplined.
Yeah, now you
finish it off.
Yeah. or short sleeves.
Short sleeves.
Chunky short
little vest maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like a little gilet.
Gilet.
But I'm pretty sure it will block later. You can.
Yeah, it's brioche. It's super stretchy.
And you also, what I really liked is you combine a thicker and a thinner yarn in brioche.
I did. Yeah. So the reverse or color B is Juliet by our favorite Durham Natura.
Yeah.
And then the front color or the color A is just a whole load of scrappy fingering weight colors. Lots of sock yarn, some singles, some 2-ply, and just having fun with the colors and going with the flow.
It's so cute.
Oh, thanks.
It's really worth finishing. So
yeah.
It's gonna be
or maybe some other lucky baby will come into my life. Not my baby. I'm very happy with one.
Still hanging on to that idea. We'll follow that up later. But you know, it's you're pretty certain of. Then I think it's really great that you have a plan for that. So.
Yeah. But tell me, what would you be working on if only you had the time or discipline? What's your fantasy knit this week?
If I had the discipline and if I wasn't, I always throw myself into new patterns that I want to make. But if I wasn't doing that, I would be knitting the Partner Pullover by Lydia Morrow.
Which one would you do? Because it's a pack of 3, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a pack of 3. I haven't decided that because it's still a fantasy.
Yeah.
But I think I like the checkered one.
The checkered one?
Yeah.
I really like... it's hard to tell. I like there's like a chevron-y one.
Yeah.
But I also really like the colourwork rectangles. I think I'd probably do the colourwork rectangles.
Yeah.
It's a great pattern. And really nice that you get the different options for the different...
Super cool. Yeah, that's really great. And it's a raglan, so probably that's quite easy to incorporate the different patterns. But I think it's a really nice idea. It looks really great. Yeah. In a fantasy world, we'll of course both be knitting one.
Yeah, we'd be doing it together.
Yeah, sure. And then in the next episode, in fantasy, we would be sitting here with these sweaters. But it's a fantasy.
Yeah.
And how about you?
Well, I am feeling a little bit inspired. My husband went to Shetland for his work, and it was extremely cold to go to northern Scotland in the middle of winter. Surprise, surprise.
Surprise.
So he bought himself this little hat, which I think is in Jameson Smith.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
And
Look at the colours. Yeah.
you
see that.
super subtle, beautiful. So I've been having this sort of fantasy of an all-over colourwork sweater, or just a really intense colourwork sweater, and probably a cardigan for this phase of life for me. And I was flipping back through some old issues of Pom Pom, and I found again the Foxthoughts cardigan by Hiroko Payne, The Hare and the Crow, which is one of those designs which is just mind-bogglingly wonderful. It's so beautiful, and I would never have the discipline to do that complex level of stranded colourwork.
And it's a really fantastic sweater. Yeah, I think you knit it once in a lifetime, and then you're so happy to have it in your wardrobe.
Yeah, exactly. And then you need like three or four generations to love it as much as you do.
Exactly.
Because so much work went into it.
And they will.
Yeah, they should.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it's a piece of art. That's true. Which brings us to our favorite feed.
Oh, yes.
So we're always talking about also something that inspires us, which can be a book, or it can be an Instagram account that we follow. What is your favorite feed? What inspires you?
I have really been loving the work of the textile mixologist on Instagram. It's a relatively new find for me. It's a fashion account, and she just does the most incredible outfits, styling, working with slow fashion, working with handmade textile a lot of the time, sourced from all over the world, lots of South American textile particularly. And she just has a crazy good eye for colour and pattern and mixing patterns.
She just has a hack for putting together combinations that are not very obvious, but that it's just so more. Yeah, more makes it better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a nice feed. I followed it, of course, after you told me, so I'm really happy about that as well.
Who are you inspired by at the moment?
I've been following for a while a designer called Louise Trotter, and she used to be, until recently, head designer at Lacoste.
Oh yeah.
And she put together a really amazing collection, which I really loved, which was also about mixing patterns, also a lot about knits, incorporating knits, and parts of intarsia. I'm not really a big fashion follower, but if I'm on Instagram, I really want to see something that inspires me and shows me something new. And with her work for Lacoste, that was always really great. Also, in every episode, we're talking about our favorite 3, and these are changing every time. And for this time, we decided on a seasonal topic, which is spring projects, favorite 3 spring project. And while we were discussing it, I think we found out that it's maybe not the favorite, but let's say like reoccurring or most rewarding. Maybe rewarding.
Yeah, most rewarding, definitely.
Yeah. And what are your 3 most rewarding spring projects?
So the first one is filling my house with bulbs. So we've got some muscari, we've got some tulips, we've got some narcissus, narcissi. I think before I moved to the Netherlands, I had always been very limited in the way I thought about bulbs. They're things that you put in the ground and they come up in spring and die back, and that's that. But what I love about living here is that the obsession with all things bulbs is bigger than that, and you can have naked bulbs without any soil that you just pop in water, or little sort of tablescapes, or on the balcony.
And the poches you get at the supermarket, of course, you can buy them already.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's really been giving us a little bit of joy in the house. The next thing that I have been enjoying is taking my baby on bike rides in our buckfiets. So this is the very Dutch style cargo bike, which has a big bucket at the front and a bike on the back. And it took me a little bit of practice to get confident in putting a baby out there on the road, but we're getting out and going through, through town. And as you said, it just really expands your radius. You're not limited by how far you can walk with the stroller or in the carrier and things like that. So that's really exciting for us, getting a little bit of adventure happening, especially as it warms up. And then my last one, so being 7 months after having a baby, my wardrobe was needing a bit of a refresh and a re-examination. So I had a friend over and we did a big overhaul. She's has a really great eye for style, worked in the fashion industry for a long time, and she gave me lots of good advice and helped me work out what things to put away for a little while and what things to get rid of and which pieces are keepers. And so
that's helpful.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's good to have those sorts of friends in your life too.
For sure.
Yeah, so I'm feeling really more invigorated about what clothes to wear now that we're sort of moving into a different season of life and season of the year. Yeah,
and season for yourself also different. You have to come back to being on your own in your body again.
Yes,
and
not sharing my body with anybody.
Yeah.
Well, not inside anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then enjoying that, and it always takes a little moment when you're in transitional phases to get back into the joyous
I'd really
Mm-hmm.
lost that wanting to express my personality through my clothes. They were really just something to put on my body to stay warm and not be naked.
Yeah. So my 3 most rewarding spring projects is so the first time really have set myself to, because, and it's not yet happened because it's still a bit cold here. I'm still wearing my woolen sweaters, but there comes a moment when the woolen sweaters go out, and they stay in the cupboard for a long time. And I really have to set myself to it to wash them all, because otherwise if you start to wear them again in fall, the moths have gone into them because they really like that worn aura,
that yummy worn sweater taste.
Exactly, of a whole
extra smart
winter. And if I wash them, they just stay much better. Or I put them in the freezer also sometimes, and that also helps. So that's definitely one. Second that I'm actually always doing, and it started with there's a supermarket chain in the Netherlands called Albert Heijn, and they started with these little cups of for herbs and for tomatoes, and so you get a little bucket of ground and the seed, and you can put them in the windowsill. I usually have a huge installation of all these, and we make them together with my son.
Yes.
And then I really like what's dill in English?
Dill.
Yeah, I really love dill. I love the dill scent also. And tomatoes actually. Potatoes I can do. Tomatoes and cucumber, because they make really nice flowers. And so I like to have that in the windowsill, and then they're waiting until it's warm enough outside. We can put them outside in the earth. And then another one that's another discipline project, which I have to start next week as soon as possible, is to make really good blackout curtains for the room of our son.
Yeah.
Because he goes to bed still quite early, but then he also wakes up really early. And he doesn't get into the sleepy mode if it's still nice and bright in his room.
No.
So I used painting tape, and I taped the curtains to the window frame. That works, but you still get little parts that are too bright. So now I'm going to make like curtains which I can kind of hook right flush against the frame of the window, and it's just dark once sleepy time is announced.
And we have taken the extreme measure of just blacking out the window of my daughter's room.
Also during the day.
There's one little square where we can look outside and talk about what's going on outside, but it's just black.
Yeah, because otherwise she doesn't sleep.
Doesn't nap.
No,
she doesn't.
She doesn't nap.
Yeah. That's some very, very rewarding kind of tasks. I think it's going to improve everybody's quality of life. Huh?
I think so too. Yeah. I hope it's not going to turn into a fantasy spring project. But maybe we can report next time when we're here on Greatest Knits.
Yes, that sounds great. Well, I think that brings us to a close for today. We wanted to thank you all so much for joining us, and I'm really excited to be back in front of the camera.
It's great to
chatting with you about our knits. Yep. And we look forward to speaking to you next time.
Yeah. So enjoy spring and enjoy knitting, whatever you're knitting, and hope to see you soon.
Yeah. Bye everyone.
Bye.